really, what fires me up every day is working with people who have different skill sets than my own, and it pushes us outside of our comfort zone to rely on other coworkers to create a unique, interesting, vibrant restaurant community and the brand that has its own unique voice and kind of a cacophony of hundreds of different restaurants around the whole country. Here in my 30th year doing this at Dogfish, I'm really humbled by the fact that so many great creative people have joined our journey. Some stayed with us and some chose to go on a different path, but they all kind of contributed to the distinction of the Dogfish brand along this journey.
Sam here today talking about our chicory stout. Today we're talking about our old school barley wine.
30 years ago, basically my wife Mariah and I decided we were going to open the first brewery in the first state. I was 24 years old writing the business plan and couldn't afford a real brewing system, so we built a brewery out of used kegs and put it in the corner of this restaurant downtown Rehoboth. Our holy trinity was original beer, original food, original music, and away we went. Our niche was to be the first commercial brewery in America focused on bringing unexpected culinary ingredients into the world of beer. Raisins, beet sugars, pumpkin, maple syrup. And in the early days we got made fun of or people would get mad at us, but pretty soon we kind of became recognized as one of the most creative breweries in the country, and that helped drive our little coastal Delaware brand into sort of national distribution and national recognition. One of the things we proudly do at our different restaurant locations is we really put an emphasis on beer deserving its place at the table just as much as wine does. And, the diverse styles and flavors of beer can find, perfect pairings with food in a similar way that wine does, albeit usually more affordably than world-class wine. A beautiful beer like Namaste, our light wheat beer, is such a perfect partner for spicy wings because the low alcohol and the sweetness kind of tamps down the spice. And then you contrast that to here we are at Chesapeake and Maine. You do a beer called Sea Quench, which is made with sea salt and black limes, designed to be the perfect partner for Chesapeake and Maine oysters. And a lot of people don't know this, but over 90% of the seafood sold in America doesn't come from American shores. It's mostly from Asia, and that comes with some freshness ramifications and some carbon footprint ramifications as well. What we wanted was a place that we would commit to selling seafood that only came from the regions harvested from the waters between Maine and the Chesapeake. So we got something for everyone's palate, whether it's in a liquid form or food. Dogfish kind of grew up as a brand at the moment when the internet became this tool for scaling a brand, and you didn't need, multi-million-dollar advertising budgets to reach a passionate niche audience from coast to coast. So I think the coolest component of that is how many people have traveled to coastal Delaware to see Dogfish as their primary reason for visiting. We are really intentional about thinking about the epicenter of our brand experience and wanting each of our locations to be distinct and exciting enough that if someone takes the time to come and visit coastal Delaware, that there's reasons for them to visit not just one, but each of our unique locations. So if they hang out at the Milton Tasting Room, they can go on a 45-minute brewery tour. If they come and hang out here at Chess in Maine or the Brew Pub in Rehoboth, then they're probably hanging out with our coworkers and what we create in beverage and food form for a couple hours over an awesome meal. And then ultimately, the deepest experience is our smallest location, which is our 17-room harborfront hotel with a killer, cappuccino program and e-bikes to get people around, an empty growler in every room with a map on how to get to all the different breweries and distilleries in coastal Delaware by bike. So that's where we can go the deepest with the customer, and they can hang out with our brand and our coworkers for at least 24 hours. honestly, my favorite meeting of the week is I do a fireside chat where I just bring a backpack full of beers or cocktails and send out a bat signal by email to the 17 guests that are staying there. And we sit around the fire pit and we have two rules. We talk about the beverage industry or the beauty of coastal Delaware. And I learned so much about our brand through the eyes of people who cared enough about it to come and stay at a Dogfish themed hotel, and that really informs our journey. So yeah, we love all of our locations equally, and they're all equally worth visiting. I think 30 years in, what I'm most proud of is that we're not commodified or dumbed down into one product. We're recognized as a brand that takes risks, goes outside our own comfort zone, goes on this exploration of goodness, and hopefully keeps enticing people to join us on that exploration.